Welcome to another episode of New Jersey Paranormal. I'm Chris, and this is my team member Tanya. Today we're bringing you one of the most haunted Woodbridge buildings, the Board of Ed. And with me now, Tanya is going to explain why the building might be haunted.
The Board of Education building was built in 1876. Originally, it was PS1, public school, and in 1951, one of the worst train wrecks in U.S. history took place here in Woodbridge, New Jersey. There was over 500 people injured in this train wreck, and the local emergency responders were overwhelmed, and they didn't have the means to house all these bodies. So they started using the local buildings in and around Woodbridge, New Jersey. It's rumored that the Board of Education building was one of them. Here, rumored that they brought the bodies and put them in the basement and used it as a makeshift morgue. A lot of the patients that were brought here were possibly not deceased at the time, and they wound up dying while in the Board of Education building. And that could be one of the reasons why the Board of Education building is one of the most haunted buildings in Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Join us as we investigate what's haunting the Board of Ed.
You know, when word got out that we were going to be in the Board of Ed building investigating, we started to receive emails from people that worked there. They had experiences themselves in the building, and they had heard stories about the building being haunted for years. So we set up interviews with each of these people. Two wanted to be on camera, and then they're off camera, and then one agreed to be on camera. Two wanted their identity hid for their own reasons. So we're going to play the interviews now and hear about what it is they experienced inside the buildings.
Okay.
Can you tell us about the paranormal experience that you had here at the Board of Education building?
Yes, on the second floor, near the copier in the hallway, there used to be a picture framed in glass above the copier and file cabinets on the wall behind the copier. And I was there making copies one day and saw a reflection of someone walking behind me in the reflection of the glass in the picture on the top of the copier, and turned around to move so they could get by, and there was no one there.
Could you describe the reflection, male, female?
It actually looked a little, it was only in silhouette, but I thought it was the woman that worked in the office down the hall because the hair sort of looked like her short haircut.
So that's interesting in that a lot of people talk about having experiences on the second floor. We've interviewed a few people who claim to have seen a woman on the second floor, and this person who doesn't want her name given has worked there for years, and her experience is on the second floor.
Which pretty much ties into what we experienced on the second floor.
Second floor was crazy.
So I went and asked her, because again, she's been there for years, if she knew of any other stories about the building, if anybody she had worked with had had experiences there, and she told us quite a few things that she had heard about. You've worked here many years.
Yes.
Have you heard stories from anyone else about experiences that they may have had here?
Yes. I've heard of one person on the second floor seeing a woman on a Saturday when no one else was in the building and following that woman down the hall into an office. And when she followed her in there was no one there. I've heard a young janitor that doesn't want to work at night here because he had an experience about something coming off the wall and rolling down the hallway. And he's too afraid to come back at night when there's no one here. And another one, someone down here in the basement that saw a black shadowy figure walk between two of the poles that hold up the building.
So she references the second floor, the basement as well. Lots of the clips and the evidence that we captured was in these two locations. And another thing that she mentioned that kind of struck me was the janitor who didn't want to work there anymore. The article that's in the Board of Ed on the wall, right there when you enter the building, is about the building being haunted, and most of the quotes are from the janitor who retired from that building. So again, that's impressive. So interview number 2 was with another woman, worked on the second floor.
Second floor.
She's another person who's been there for quite a few years, doesn't want her identity known. She had a few experiences herself. Okay, so you've had 2 experiences here at the Board of Education building.
Correct.
Could you tell us about those experiences?
Okay, the first time I experienced something was when I was only working here 2 months. And I was down in the basement part, which they call the vault, and I was filing. And I was in, there's like 3 rows. The one row, there was nothing, I wasn't there, I was in the middle row. And all of a sudden, I saw, the best way to describe it is vapor. It was something that you would see coming off a grill, and it was transparent. You could see through it, and it just went down the aisle to my left and just came down like this. And I wasn't even sure if I saw it, but I was like, no, I saw something. And I immediately went upstairs, and I asked everybody. He said, well, you're new, maybe they're checking you out. And I said, I've heard stories that the building was haunted, but that was my first experience. And I've been down there ever since, but I get totally creeped out when I go down there. I really, honestly do. But it was about, the filing cabinet's like here, so it was above the filing cabinet. And I don't want to say, maybe 6 feet.
How long did it appear for?
It just it went down the line. I guess 2 seconds. It just went down the aisle. Somebody was, I don't want to say anybody was walking. I don't know really what it was, but it was definitely above the filing cabinet where I could see it, and it was just coming down that way.
Okay, what happened the second time?
The second time was I work in, the department I work in, we use these old adding machines. It was Friday. I put a brand new tape in, so I used up all my tape. And I'm pretty sure I turned it off. I'm not 100% sure if I shut off my machine, but I do mostly, every Friday. And when I came in Monday, the machine was on, and the entire tape was used. The paper was piled from the floor up to here past my desk. It was like somebody was working and hitting the machine all weekend long.
So did you ask anybody?
Well, everybody was laughing because they were like, Hap, you left your machine on. What happened? I'm like, I didn't do that. Nobody could explain what happened, and everybody was laughing. It was freaky. It was very strange. It was hot to touch. When you put your hand on it, it was very hot. And even if I put it on all weekend long, it would have never done that, and it would have never been hot. So the whole room saw it.
It's funny that she says that because she also collaborates, and we had experiences down in the basement where she's talking about in our evidence clips.
And the second floor.
Yeah.
There does seem to be a pattern here, and specifically in the areas that they reference in the basement, we had...
Particularly those 2 poles.
Right. In the back area of the basement. So then I questioned her, have you heard stories as well? There are people you work with that have had anything happen, and she mentioned a few things as well. So besides your experiences, you have heard other things as well that have happened.
Yes. A friend of mine that used to work upstairs, she didn't believe in the ghosts. And she said one day she went to the ladies' room, she went to go push the door like there was somebody holding it, and then she went through, and she went on, was doing her business, or whatever you want to call it, and then she said the water went on. Then it went off. Then it went on again, and she washed her hands, and she just ran out because she said she just felt like there was something there, just totally messing around with her. And as far as other stories, I may have heard of apparitions upstairs. I've never personally seen them, but in the windows. Actually, where the work area I'm in is in back of the building, and upstairs is the one room that everyone sees things in the window. So it's right above where I work.
Well, it's funny that she said that because I had an experience in the bathroom. I thought it was just me. I couldn't get the door open. And then you had an experience in the bathroom, and Kenny, our other investigator, had an experience in the bathroom too.
Yeah, in the men's room, one of the stories is that the stall toilet will flush by itself, and there isn't an eye on that toilet where it's automatic sensor. It's a manual flush, and I was in there doing my business, and I was at the urinal, and the stall toilet did flush by itself, and it freaked me out because it was dark. I couldn't get the automatic light on.
And that happened to Kenny in another bathroom.
Okay.
Well, he heard something banging on the pipes, which was a little weird for him, and then all of a sudden the toilet flush.
I remember him coming out. He thought we were pulling a
Yeah.
prank on him. Yeah, we weren't. We weren't even on the same floor.
Nope.
So the third interview, this person actually agreed to be on camera and tell their story. This was David Wydell. David, I believe, works in purchasing. David was a non-believer, skeptic. He said that when we interviewed him, and his experience happened in the basement near the two poles. Take a look at that interview. Tell us about your paranormal experience here at the Board of Education building.
So I started around 2014 here at the Board of Ed building in purchasing. We were on the second floor then. And for someone that doesn't believe in ghosts or spirits or anything like that, I've heard all these stories from a few of my coworkers, Anthony Diorsi and Fran Dremschick, about all these happenings from upstairs, whether they were spirits or people saw reflections in photo frames upstairs. And I always kind of just brushed it off. I said, that doesn't happen, that doesn't exist. I have to see it to believe it kind of guy. That's who I am. I want to see something to believe it. And so one day, you know, I had to go downstairs here in the basement, actually, a few rooms away. We have a purchasing closet with all our old purchase orders. And they were told I had to get some copies for our business administrator of some old POs. So I would go up and down the steps, making copies, bringing some old ones up, bringing them back down, just back and forth. And finally, when I was done, I was going through the door over there, and there it was. I had my papers in my hand and a pen on top, and there was a perfect ball of white light that just kind of shot across the papers, and it was a perfect circle, and the pen kind of rolled off the papers, and I kind of had to catch it with my papers in my hands, and I kind of real quick said, "Hello, anyone down here?" I kind of looked around. All the lights were kind of dark in here, so there's no reflection that could have came off of a phone or a window. There's a couple things. I have a watch on. I have an ID tag. My phone. You know, the reflection that I made, it was a perfect circle, almost like a softball size. Bright white light. So for that to make some kind of reflection, I knew that it had to be casted from something, but there was nothing to cast it from down here. So I kind of looked around. I said, hello, no one down here. So I real frantically kind of ran back up because I had to tell everyone the story. And I tell my coworkers, and they kind of laughed, and almost in tears, saying, "That's how you knew someone was just saying hello. I do exist. You know, we are here."
So here's someone who is a skeptic, who didn't have an experience before, paranormal nature of any kind, down in the basement by the two poles. That his filing area is literally right behind the pole where we have a lot of evidence captured. He sees a ball of light, pen goes flying off the pad. Another experience in the basement. So these are people that work there every day that have had real experiences, which is why we came in to investigate. We'll be back with the evidence review after this. Welcome back. We did capture a lot of evidence in the Board of Education building. Most of it centered around the second floor in the basement. Tanya, do you want to start with the first clip?
Sure. The first clip, we're down in the basement, and we are actually by those two poles where the one David had a lot of experiences. So you're using the ovulus, and we had a voice come through.
And the voice actually says a name.
It says the name.
Okay, I'm going to turn on this box right here.
Okay, I got a good spot.
If you think of a word and you say that word, you can try as hard as you can. You could use this box to speak through. Is there something you want to say? Could you tell us your name? That's good. Try to talk now. Talk into this black box that I'm holding in my hand. Think of a word. Oh, no. That's good. Come close to us. You're welcome to come near us. We want to talk to you. Just think of a word and say the word. It'd be great if it was your name. What's it say?
Sam.
Sam.
Holy. Hello, Sam.
Hi, Sam. My name is John.
I'm Tanya.
That's
I'm
Chris. And that's
Sam.
Kenny over there. So I asked for a name. The ovulus says the name Sam. What the Ovilus does, is it takes measurements of the environment, measures the EMF field, and there's a dictionary inside the word programmed in of 2,000 words. It takes the measurement of the environment and the electromagnetic field, and it finds a word, a binary code that corresponds with a word, and it just spits out that random word.
And the spirit can manipulate.
The spirit, in theory, can manipulate the environment to pick the word that it wants to pick. That word was Sam. So on the second clip here, we used another communication, an ITC communication device that we could communicate with spirits through, in theory. This device uses radio frequencies. It scans the frequencies up and down the dial. In theory, the spirits can use those frequencies to speak through. The spirit box repeats the name Sam.
Right.
My name is John. Can you say hello, John? So here again, we're going to play that clip one more time so that you could hear it. You do hear the name Sam
And
again
now that's
after
2 pieces of equipment.
same name.
Two
so we'll
different
play
pieces
that
of
clip
equipment.
again. My name is John. Can you say hello, John?
Well, it's funny because in the next clip, we've already used the Ovilus, we used the Spirit's box, and we all heard the name Sam. Now we're all just standing around and we're doing the Spirit box again, but then we all react and respond to a live voice that comes out and what it says on this next clip.
What's funny about this clip is I point to the Spirit box thinking it's coming from,
It's
and it's not. With the headphones on,
was
you
live.
hear it's a live voice that shouts it out.
What was that? So it's Sam again.
Sam, say hello. We're going to listen to that clip again because in the beginning, Tanya hears it say Sam once, and then it
Right.
repeats it again, and she reacts to it.
What was that? So it's Sam again.
Sam, say hello.
That was pretty clear.
That was.
So here we have 3 instances of the same name, which is kind of rare. I did research the names of the victims of the train crash, and there wasn't anyone named Sam on that train as far as I could tell. Who Sam is requires some more research, but that was 3 times where the same name came through, and that is rare.
This next clip, we are in the basement again, and me and Chris are, again, by those 2 poles, and we were getting K2 hits, and the K2 meter is a device that uses electromagnetic fields, and when a spirit is said to be near and giving off electromagnetic energy, it causes the lights to fluctuate on this device. Sam or anybody, are you here?
They say that there's a female down here too. Is there a female down here?
Oh. Hi.
And there is the first instance, I'm sorry, of a female spirit, of interaction. Now, they claim to have seen a female spirit on the 2nd floor. That was our first kind of indication that there may be multiple spirits in this building, which I believe anyway. The next set of clips that we're going to show all take place on the 2nd floor, where I've had a lot of experiences on the 2nd floor.
I think we all have.
Oh, yeah.
This clip here takes place in one of the offices. I've actually have K2 meters, which measure electromagnetic fields, and I also have a trigger object. Now, a trigger object also reacts to changes in the environments, changes in the electromagnetic field. I have this set up to where it's a stuffed animal, and if anything were to touch that stuffed animal, you're getting this little box is going to beep and go off. So here, something approaches and not only makes our K2s react, but it also seems to be touching the stuffed animal as well. They're both going now. Of course, because we're not.
Do you have a camera?
Yeah, I'm filming.
Holy crap. Oh man, it touched the friggin' horse too! Are you friggin' kidding me?
Alright, step away from the horse. Please.
Oh, and the K2's going off. The K2s are going off.
Alright, hurry up. Sorry, I don't mean to be like...
No.
Oh my god, are you friggin'
Did you
kidding
get that,
me?
Kenny?
Yeah, I got the whole thing.
So there you see that not only one device reacts to now something, interacting with it, which it seemed it saw the stuffed animal and tried to touch it. So now we have communication going on the second floor.
And in this scene, we actually use a REM pod, which is kind of like the K2, but with the REM pod, it actually it gives off an EMF so that something can draw energy from it, and when that happens, it actually lights up and it makes sounds. And this one just happens to be musical. And our other investigator, Kenny, kind of freaks out when what happens in this clip.
Are you the one that yelled in John's ear? Holy shit.
Right behind Kenny too. Are you kidding me? Look at that!
Catch it on film, Kenny. Catch it on film.
I got the chills.
Turn around and catch it on film.
Oh, that's even him.
Kenny was frozen. There it goes.
Is that you?
It won't record. I'm dead.
Two orbs just flew right by Kenny too. Whoop, there it goes. Are you freaking kidding me?
I got nothing. Look.
I got you. Are you by Ken? Oh my God, you're by Kenny. That's Kenny there. You want to say hello to him?
You want a hug?
Oh my God, Kenny, that's right near you, man.
You like that? You like that it plays music?
What? Oh man, it's like pins and needles.
Kenny asked if you wanted a hug. Do you want a hug?
You ever hug a fat guy?
Oh my God.
Are you a female? Okay.
Do you like Kenny?
Of course.
That's right, make them all go off. And the K2 is going off the same time on the desk. Yeah.
So you like Kenny. Kenny's someone that you can relate to? Does he look familiar to you, like somebody you know?
Well, I wish I had this one.
Do you think he... Okay. Do you think he's handsome? I think it's just having fun with that. I really do. I think it's just having fun with that box. Can you step away from it?
Oh no, it's right by him, whatever it is.
Real quick, I don't know if you guys noticed, the camera went dead that he was using, so it drained all of the battery, and that was the new one we just replaced. He mentioned how cold he got, and he had goosebumps on his arms. So there were several things that were going on at the same time. Even the K2s were going off on the desk.
Even better than that was the fact that he just froze when it started to go off.
So on this next clip, Kenny tries to debunk and prove that it's not his equipment that's setting it off. He walks around the REM pod, and
he actually waves his arm.
He waves his arm. He
does
tries to do anything to get it to set off, and it doesn't. Not until he walks away.
You know, yeah, but I mean, like, look, the camera won't trigger it. Like, me walking by.
Yeah, and it killed your camera, didn't it? Seemed to really like Kenny.
It's on now, but the lights are dead.
It seemed to really like Kenny.
Let Kenny know that you're still there. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Likes Kenny.
So again, when you have interaction with a certain person, you try to use that. You try to use whatever resources you can. Seem to be interacting with Kenny, so I ask, are you following Kenny around? And again, we get a reaction with the piece of equipment.
Have you been following Kenny? Okay.
All right. That's right.
That's a pretty good response, too.
Can you?
Yes. Oh, wow. That's a really good response.
Can you hold it and light up all the lights for us?
That's a really good response.
Well, in this last clip that we have, we actually Tanya was actually smart enough to try to tie in to get it acknowledged that all of the names that we got for the night, if it was tied to something.
Right.
And you actually got a response.
We had Sam clearly how many times?
Do you know Sam?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
So there's a lot of evidence in that building, a lot of personal experiences, a lot of stories. Again, for me, that is definitely one of the most haunted buildings that I've been in.
And that's not a word we label lightly.
Right, we don't use that word lightly when we go into any buildings, but the name Sam just kept coming through, different instruments.
There was a female.
There was a female there. Kenny, again, was experiencing a lot of different things, and when it happens, you use that over and over, and you'll use whatever objects you can. If they're communicating through the music circle, the Ovilus, the REM pod, you use whatever resources that you have. But definitely a building that I would go back into again and again. Definitely a building that I would like to research further. That's a building that we've had celebrities in, and they've had activity, they've had personal experiences. Definitely probably the most haunted building in Woodbridge, for sure.
Definitely.
So we will be going back in there again, I'm sure at a later date, to try to capture more evidence, to try to hear some more.
Did we find out about Sam?
Exactly. Sam is definitely a name that we're going to research, try to find out if he was related to the building in some way, shape, or form, and try to figure out who the female may be and how many spirits are there, for sure. Thank you for watching this episode of New Jersey Paranormal. We'll see you next time.